All right, before we look at your swing, we're going to go over just kind of visually understanding compression and how golf clubs work. So the golf swing, this is Rory McIlroy. The golf swing's a circle, and basically we're swinging down this circle, applying leverage first, and the leverage creates leverage, then we get club head speed. And what your swing was lacking was it had speed, but it didn't have any leverage. The bottom of the circle is not at here, which people think the bottom is here. The bottom is 4 inches in front. On a descending blow, if we're hitting the ball off the ground, because we're going to compress the ball, and that's why the divots are afterwards. As you can see, this club, the sweet spot of the ball is here and here. These two need to meet, and the only way they can meet, so most people think if you're getting underneath it, it means the sweet spot would be under there. But if we back this up a little bit, you'll see this club is compressing this ball and heading downward. That's that compression. If we're hitting the ball, that's why it's the bottom is on a downward blow. And the sweet spot is right there. See where it's hitting off that face. So that's high. And there's a shaft lean. That's important because that's the leverage part of it. Back this one up. So this club, as it passes through, to have leverage is something we need a shaft leaning this way. And that's allowing the compression off the face and the divot, that whatever loft the club is, the ball's just going to go up that loft angle, and that club will continue down to hit the bottom, depending on the club, how big the divot. If we watch Roy as he goes down, how he moves is creating that leverage. You'll see the shaft is leaning, and this hand is in backhand is in extension, and this front hand will be in flexion. And that's how we get to leverage. So you'll see the divot afterwards. So he's compressing. And then the speed, that's a force. So the compression is a force of energy to do it. We're compressing. And then the speed is the slingshot effect afterwards. He's releasing everything through. Now in the swing, we're going to look at and we're going to bring your swing up now. So this was your original swing. This is Jon Rahm. So what you do really well is you make this natural pivot, and it's pretty stable, so that part's pretty good. This is Bear from the tour. You'll have more of his look. Jon Rahm has more compact, but you're in this, what we've stabilized your swing, and you have these angles. In the golf swing itself, I help people understand how to get energy and where it comes from. So we have a force. Force creates motion, creates energy. So the kinetic chain is understanding this and the release part. It's not really linear positions, but so much understanding where the energy comes from, what's a force and what's a motion. So in the swing, we have 3 things, where there's 6 of them. Your shoulders, hips, wrist, your arms, your ground forces, that's how your feet are pushing off your legs are pushing off the ground to create a ground force. And the last one is your core. When you swing back, the problem in your swing is that you want to use your wrist at the bottom, and that's you releasing the wrist, and you lose your leverage. Your body isn't spinning, but your hand isn't finished. And you basically need to learn what we worked on is to get better, to get that release better. If we watch John, he comes down. You're going to see that he comes in and he's applying leverage. You'll have this flexion, and you'll have extension, and yours is the release. So really just changing how to compress the ball better in your swing, and that'll gain a lot more power because your leverage will create ball speed, and the club head speed will speed up because of all this stuff. So how do we do that? Let's look at our drills. So the first drill, which I'm going to do, I'm pretty sure we did this one. So this drill is enhancing the other three. So in this drill, this is where I'm hugging my arm. I'm holding my right elbow into my side. I'm hugging right here. That hugging is me feeling my core. So that's our core muscles. I'm feeling my arm move. It's important to keep this arm bent here and definitely bent here, creating that what? Extension, which is the opposite of being in flexion here. And the key to this drill is I am pushing off the ground. My ground force is moving my core. So I'm hitting it with my core and ground forces, not my hands. I'm hitting with my core. And this thing will stay back, hinged like this. It's important when you do this drill, you can just turn a club down, upside down and hit it like a comforter or something. You don't have to hit it hard, but you got to feel that your ground forces and your core hitting the bag, and definitely not your wrist. So that gives you that feeling. And this is for the chip. So if you're hitting a chip shot, be the same feel. Not as much force, but the same contact. So I chip with my feet and my core. I don't chip with my wrist. My wrists are just kind of naturally working. This gets you out of your shoulders, it gets you out of your wrists, and gets you out of your hips. Hips and shoulder are going to move naturally in the swing. They're going to be part of the slingshot part, but they're not part of the force part. And that was a big thing. And the training aid here that we did, it was trying to help you get to that feel. And with this thing here, it got you to feel that thing rubbing on your, it was pushing against your front arm. So now you were hitting here with now this extension and flexion. So it gave you another way to get that feel. That to do that, you had to move, you see how your core is moving, and you had to force that core, you had to push and move your core, and your hands got less wristy. And here you kind of just flipped the hands, and the core didn't really move as a force. So there was a force, that force in your swing became the wrist, and the force is down the ground in your chest, and that's where you're going to start compressing the ball. At this point, we just let it release everything. We release the hips, the shoulders, the arms, that's the speed. So there's the hit, and then there's a letting it fly feeling. You hit, and then release all that energy and emotion. You see that was just, you flipped it, and then you kind of came around. That's why I didn't have the same powerful feeling through the shot.